Hello and welcome to the webinar for the annual Catalyst grants. Today I will take you through a little bit about who we are as the Community Engagement Center at York and a little bit about the context and purpose of the Catalyst grant, some of the important criteria about the grant and kind of what we're looking for, as well as the application process. So to begin, my name is Marie Rose. I'm the Community Projects Coordinator over at the Community Engagement Center, and we are here to support the university's commitment to build a more engaged university by facilitating mutually beneficial collaborations between York University and the Black Creek community. So we opened in 2008. We actually sit at York Gate Mall. So we have an office at York Gate Mall, which is located at the corner of Jane and Finch. And our purpose is really about making sure that we do have that meaningful and mutually beneficial relationship. So to do that, we have 5 core areas in which we work. So the first is on fostering teaching and learning through experiential education opportunities that fit community needs. The second is supporting access to post-secondary education. The third is through enhancing the capacity of York faculty and students, as well as community partners to work collaboratively on community-based research. The fourth is to coordinate institutional structure to respond to community requests and opportunities for university community collaborations. And the fifth is to support an outreach for reskilling, retooling, and developing opportunity for people to thrive. So I'll go into each of these in a little bit more detail so that you can understand the context of our work. So the first is experiential education. So these are activities that take place during a course to provide real-world context to the content of the course. So traditionally, we have supported placements in education, social work, nursing, and communication. And to provide a better context for the students so that they can understand the context in which they'll be working in, we provide a community-based student orientation. We also have supported tax clinics in the past, and we have a work study position. So we actually hire a student or two every year to work with us in the CEC so that they have an understanding of what it's like to work in community. And then we've also supported partnerships. So for example, the MBA students at Schulich have supported nonprofits to explore private partnerships within the community. So that was a really interesting experiential education activity that took place about 2 years ago. And it's really about making sure that these also fit the needs of community. So not only is it an opportunity for students to gain that kind of experience and expertise, but also for the community to see it as a resource wherever they need it. Moving forward into access to post-secondary. So this is making sure that the youth in the community actually have access to post-secondary pathways and options. We host a first-year network, which supports students who are coming from the Jane and Finch community into their first year at York, and we kind of help them with their transition to make sure that they feel supported throughout that time and that they don't get kind of lost in the system as they're here. We also have an annual Walk with Excellence. So this takes place at the end of every year where we celebrate the achievements of Jane and Finch graduates by parading down from one of the high schools into York University, and we welcome them onto campus. We provide school tours as well as back to school events. We've actually invited Jane and Finch students in to take your kids to work day so they can see York as a viable place to work as well. And we work very closely with local high schools to provide workshops to kind of break down maybe some of the assumptions about university or college post-secondary options, as well as financing post-secondary. And we also support the Women's Bridging Program and host it in our space for women who are planning to go back into school. So this arm is also related to the Catalyst grants, which is community-based research. So what we aim to do is kind of heal and take back a little bit of the unethical history of research that has been done in the Jane Finch community, understanding that historically research has been a bit extractive in terms of researchers parachuting in, taking the information that they need from community and then publishing it behind a paywall or never getting back to the community and sharing what they've learned as a way to benefit that community as well. So with that, we've established the Jane Finch Community Ethics Advisory. We also have a Jane Finch repository where you can access, and members of the community can access, research that's been done on the community so that it goes back into, and the benefits of that research goes back into the community as opposed to it being behind a paywall. And many Catalyst grants are actually used to support community-based resources so that it's co-designed within community. On a similar note, when we say university community enhancing the capacity for university community collaborations, we help to coordinate that institutional structure to make sure that we can become an anchor institution. So that means that we support the community in multiple areas, including through our social procurement policies, our local hiring, and volunteerism in the community. We engage in a community of practice that works to understand and share best practices when it comes to community engagement by university members. And we also sit on multiple committees, networks, and collaborations to understand what the community advocates are looking for, what the community needs, and how York can fit into that and support it as much as possible. Moving a little bit into what the Catalyst grants are. So I mentioned it a bit earlier in relation to research, but in any ways, supporting university collaborations as a whole. It's existed since 2015, and we've been able to provide over $150,000 in two community university partnerships. On average, we provide about $5,000 per project, and these are intended as seed funding for pilot projects. So it's really important for us to see that these projects may thrive after the Catalyst grant is over, and it's meant to kind of support new and startup projects as well. So this year, our theme is around sustainable communities. So one of the ways to look at that is the UN's 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. So you can submit a project that is contributing towards some of the targets in UN SDG Goal 11. So that's related to making cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. And you can find those specific targets that they have on their website. But we also wanted to open it up a little bit for interpretation. So what is a sustainable, how can we increase sustainability in a way that's most meaningful to the Jane Finch community? And how can we take a multidisciplinary lens or a justice-focused lens to sustainability in the community? And this under the context that we are still recovering, we are still in the process of rebuilding after COVID-19. So the grant application can actually be found on our website. So if you look for the PDF called Call for Proposals 2223, that is actually all the details you'll need to understand what the Catalyst grant is and how to apply for it. This website is also a great resource because it provides examples of past grantees, so you'll know what kind of projects we've supported in the past, videos of our information session, as well as any other additional information you might be interested in. And what do we mean exactly by community university partnership? So now we're going a little bit into the criteria and the process of getting a Catalyst grant. So for us, a community university partnership involves at least one community member from Black Creek or Jane Finch working together with one York University partner. So this community partner can be any organization, nonprofit, or resident group that supports or is focused on the Jane Finch or Black Creek community. Likewise, York University partners can be faculty members, staff, or longstanding student clubs. And for us, the partnership is a good partnership is key to making a great Catalyst grant. So we want to make sure that it's more than just two partners signing together, but it's really a project that's co-designed, that will be built together, that will be worked on together throughout the period of the grant. And we want to be able to see in your application what your thoughts are on how this partnership may blossom further into past the Catalyst grant. So we want to see ideas about the future as well. So if you have ideas for your Catalyst grant, but not necessarily a partner, please feel free to book an appointment with us. So you can find my email here as well as the email for Byron, who's the manager at the CEC, who can make those potential connections. So you can send us an email, let us know what you're interested in, and we can facilitate that connection for you. You're also welcome to just Google the topic. So maybe you'll find who's doing the work in the community already, who's doing the work in the university, who's related to some of your interests. York actually launched a university-wide call as part of their academic plan to contribute towards the SDGs. So you'll find on our website, we actually do have some news articles and projects related to it. So you could check that out there as listed on the PowerPoint. But of course, you always have your own networks. So you can always reach out to your own networks to find who you might be interested to work with on this kind of project. So again, looking at the criteria, we want to make sure that there is a focus on the Black Creek or Jane Finch community. So in some capacity, it has to prioritize the needs and serve the Black Creek or Jane Finch community. And this can include, or you can narrow it down however you like. So if you're interested in working with the youth in Jane Finch, you could do that, or seniors or newcomers, it's up to you, of course, dependent on your own project, how you want to bring that to life. And we also want to see some alignment with our core areas. So I spoke a bit about them already, but here they are again for you to see. So if you can work that into your project description, how it aligns with either experiential education, access to post-secondary education, community-based research, the institutional structure for York to respond to community collaborations, or reskilling and retooling and redeveloping opportunity, this is something that kind of helps us decide on which projects will be successful over the year. And a little bit about the process of the application. So the application is super simple. It's 3 pages maximum, and it has 5 main sections. So that would be the contact information of you and your partner, a description of your project, some of your goals and intended outcomes and outputs. So what do you hope to accomplish during that period of time? And then an anticipated work plan. So, how do you plan on getting through this from the work period, which is from October to end of May? And then, of course, how much you are requesting. So as I mentioned earlier, the average is about $5,000 per project, and how you want to use that money to support this project. So more details about the application can be found in that PDF on our website. So the deadline to submit is August 15th, so you can send that to me either as a PDF or a Microsoft Word document. All the applications will be reviewed by our selection committee, which consists of members of the CEC's advisory committee, and you would hear back from us around September for those decisions. And we highly, highly encourage anyone who's considering this grant to get in touch with us. We can help you form your ideas. We can help make sure that if you have any questions, that you're not just handing in an application, but we're open to helping you develop those ideas as well. So our contact information is listed above. So my email is artala@yorku.ca, and then Byron, who is my manager, is byronG@yorku.ca. And our website is there as well, and you can feel free to follow us on Twitter and Facebook too. So thank you so much, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to hear them, or you can send us an email.